After a week off, we are back for a Sunday Sickos draft. This tournament for the big board is filling. It's almost done. We might not even be able to get one in next week. And today's episode, I'm going to tell us why we've all been kind of stupid in this tournament. Let's get into it.
Three, two, one, liftoff.
Feels so good to be back after that week off. I've been in New York this past week. I will be in New York the next 2 weeks, but on the weekends, mostly I'll be home doing these draft streams, knocking into, what is that? That's not a phrase. Jumping into these drafts with you guys on Sundays. I believe we'll be back on Monday doing a draft as well, myself and Eric Bimeford. But today, when we get to the 20th round, I can't wait to tell you guys why we've all just been complete morons. Now, maybe some of you haven't. Maybe some of you have found this draft hack. I found it about 2 weeks ago, and I've started just to click the button almost every time on this player. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it, because if we get through this in enough time, I want to also jump into a NBA draft. Those admittedly not as good at as other people, but we're in here now. We're waiting for 8 people at the moment. So if you want to draft, let's jump into it. But yeah, I think doing an NBA draft will be fun as well. So if that's something you're interested in, that's something that we can do. My draft hacker should be ready this time too. So you can start seeing some of my exposures, some of my combinations. Maybe that'll help us draft a bit. Excited. Good morning, Felix. Good morning. Had a lot of fun with Felix last week on his stream. If you want to go check that out, we jumped into his Patreon. I had a really good conversation there as well. Lots of fun. Always love talking to Felix. Al Estrada, good morning. Good morning, Versier. Good morning, Omega. Bijan or jail today? Well, the Bijan or jail thing is tough to do now, because I was on, not that I'm one to like toot my own horn a lot. I kind of am. But I was on the Bijan thing really early, and that's when we could get him at the 109, and that's when we could move him up and down the board pretty much. Dude, other people are jumping on the Bijan thing. It's kind of messing up my vibe on that whole Bijan getting 30% of them in Best Ball Mania. Not going to be able to happen. We'll still be over 8%, but it's just it's going to be a little bit more time. Look at this guy, full-time streamer. Yeah, dude, I stream everything. Oh, 102. We can do the Bijan thing. Let's look at some of our percentages. We got 25% Jamar. We got 21% Bijan. We've got no percentage of the first 3 guys. We got to go Bijan at the 102, right? We got to do it for the brand. I don't have enough Justin Jefferson. I need to start bringing him up as well. He's not a guy that I want to be fading too much of in tournaments. I think it's like fine for me on this one. I'm at almost 30 drafts, somewhere around like that 26 to 30 range right now. I don't remember my exact number. I'm not looking to max this tournament. Drop to see the second half of my face today. Yeah, I try to present the draft board, and the best way for me to do that is with this view, and then I have to like kind of turn my head over here. But I think this is a perfect let's draft Bijan Robinson day, right? Let's go ahead and do it, and then we'll start talking about what I have up on my screen right now in terms of percentages. So obviously the first one is always what I have drafted of that particular player. Next one is with my first quarterback, and then my round 2 and round 3 picks for now. And maybe throughout the season, we will adjust that a bit. But for now, that is what I do for my draft. So you guys get to see all my super high, crazy exposures for the day. The other problem with my face on this whole thing is I'm not happy with my desk setup. I'm actually going to order a new desk because I want to adjust things a little bit. I don't have enough room on my desk, and I'm here way too much. just at this desk. I mean, when I'm not freaking in a different state, I'm here way too much. All right, let's start the music. That's what we do on Sundays. Get it going. They should let me create a playlist on this so that I could just like cycle through the songs without having to change them myself. I'm sure that will come at some point. I'm sure that is something that StreamYard will get done. But as for now, let's look at this draft board. So we saw CMC go. We took Bijan at the 102. CD, Tyreek, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Breece Hall. Playing the hits for the most part in this draft. We're seeing AJ Brown get pushed again. I have a lot of AJ Brown. In fact, we didn't get to it in time. Oh, 21% AJ Brown just because he gets pushed back a lot. So been pretty high on AJ Brown in this draft. Well, Jesse, that is a cry for help is what that is what I will say. So I'll get the L-shaped desk on the mind. Gonna bring that in at some point and see if I can set myself up better than I have on this one little desk. So yeah, professional streamer. We do ghost streams. I do these streams. I've started doing video game streams. It's crazy. Jesse says that all of his alcohol cans are unopened. Just tries to look like a tough guy. Keep his kids scared. Dad might drink again. Yeah, no, that's a joke. Jesse is one of the best fathers I have ever seen. So shout out to Jesse, being a good dad. And anything crazy happen in this draft yet? Not especially. We do see the 12 spot go with double RBs at the back of the draft with Gibbs and Jonathan Taylor. We'll see how he'll be able to build that out. Not a strategy I've been doing much of this year, if at all. If I have, it's been very, 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 very rare. Maybe once, maybe twice. But just the way drafts have been falling, I haven't enjoyed trying to build those. And I've been kind of not doing it. So we're going to be coming up on the clock here. We're seeing that Diggs has gotten pushed up the board quite a bit, or Nico got pushed down, I would say. I still like Nico, especially when he's falling here. I don't hate grabbing Nico and kind of seeing where the chips fall after that. I think I would like to go with Nico Collins here. And there's so many ways to go with this second pick after Touch of Greens too, that no matter what he does or she, I won't be upset. So they decided to go Debo. I kind of wanted Neighbors, to be honest. I was hoping that Neighbors fell, but he doesn't. So let's grab both Houston guys. You guys want to get wild? You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Let's grab Nico and Steph Diggs. I think that the Texans will definitely be able to support them. Do I like doing it at the 2-3 turn? Not especially. Will I do it often? Probably not. Will I do it on this draft? I have to. I've already done it. So we'll go ahead and we'll double tap Nico and Steph Diggs. I don't think it's terrible. Bijan at 2 is the craziest thing. I don't think it's that crazy. I don't think it's that crazy, personally. So, not don't think it's the most insane thing ever. So I'm okay with it. I will do it here in this particular draft. I will take him at the 101 occasionally. And for those that don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. It's a belief in the player. It's a belief in the systematic change that's going to happen in Atlanta. He's, I think, going to be the biggest beneficiary of the entire thing. I mean, you come in, you took a guy at the 8th pick last year. I think that the organization as a whole, from ownership down, is going to want to get a return on a value on that. I don't think Tyler Algier, although he's fine, should be the guy keeping Bijan Robinson off the field. We finally get that bum Cordarrelle Patterson out of there. Thank Christ. He's not there anymore. He's up in Pittsburgh doing whatever the hell the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do because of the new kickoff return rules. I'm more than fine with taking Bijan Robinson. I think his workload is going to be tremendous. Will Algier get a touchdown here or there? Of course, it's the new NFL. There just isn't a guy that's getting 100% of the workload, with very rare exceptions here and there. And then you guys hate the guys that have the 100% workload. You guys hate Kyron Williams. So, I mean, I'm being facetious a little bit, but it's as soon as a player is good, we tend to be like, we don't want to draft this guy. So, I just think Bijan's going to explode. And First Air brings up a great point. He's a top 5. Kirk Cousins is a top 5 all-time regular season QB. Storm will open up the run game. Not only will it open up the run game, it'll open up the dump-offs, right? So you're going to have, because Kirk Cousins ain't going to run. He already didn't run, and now his Achilles is flapping in the wind, right? So real Brad Pitt and Troy as Achilles situation. One of my favorite stories, I think I read this online. Someone was watching Troy with their significant other, and the point where Achilles, played by Brad Pitt, gets stabbed in his Achilles tendon, their significant other goes, "Oh, that's real original. They stabbed Achilles in his Achilles tendon." And it's just utter shock, right? Like, what are we doing? You don't understand that's where that came from. That's why it's called that. Cook going in the 4th round here over at Buffalo. We do see Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts go up in the 3rd. Is Jalen Hurts usually 3rd? It feels like he's 4th round, right? Generally, but Kaiser wanted to get that stack, so he does. We're going to be back on the clock here in a second. We have entirely too much D. Higgins apparently at 29%. See some of the other guys. We got like Zay Flowers, Trey McBride at 11%. Got a fade on Rachaad White right now. Got a fade on Amari Cooper. So that's fine. T. Higgins goes there, which I'm okay with. I think that we have no Trey McBride mixed with... Why did I set this up to not have my 1st round pick? That seems silly. So let's grab Trey McBride. We're going to have to fix our exposures for the future in terms of my percentage, because I did my 2nd and 3rd round. I forgot to put in the 1st round as well. Maybe that's something I can fix on the fly here. We're going to grab Trey McBride first. We see Keenan Allen go. And they grab Mark Andrews, so we will grab CJ Stroud to complete this stack right now. I'm going to pull the board up, but if this ends up showing you guys my draft hacker tool, I apologize. I want to add in my 1st round pick. Oh, good. It doesn't show up for you guys. That's good. Let's see if I can get that added in real quick. And let's see. There we go. Now you can see with my 1st round pick as well. So fixed on the fly. Look at us. Look at us. Team as stands is Bijan, Nico Collins, Steph Diggs, Trey McBride, and CJ Stroud. No sorry. I was going to say no RBs, but of course we drafted Bijan at the 102. So like the team so far as we go through this. And this is moving quick enough that I think we'll be able to get in an NBA draft as well. We'll be able to do a dance. Now, I am not as well versed in the NBA. I have done quite a few of these. The tournament, you got like 13 days left to draft in it, I think. And let me just check the percentage on my phone of how much it's actually filled, because it's not much. God, this song I just associate with a man dancing in a lobster suit now. If you watch Hometown Ghost Stories, you would know that reference, but maybe you don't. The dance is 29.8% filled with 13 days to go. Now, I know there'll be an onslaught and people will jump in that tournament, but 30% with 13 days to go. Didn't even see that comment, Jesse. But yes, I also associate it with the lobster dance as well. Anyways, 30% in that tournament, 13 days to go. I'm sure we'll have like a mad rush. People will start pounding that tournament at some point. But I've had fun drafting it. NBA playoff best ball, NFL playoff best ball is always a good time trying to build those championship teams. Starts with a 2 of 6 advance rate in that. So we'll jump into one of those as well. If it's something you want to do, if it's just something you want to see, I'll do it on stream. So the double running back drafter from the 12th spot that went Gibbs and Taylor comes back around, grabs Laporta, and then grabs Tank Dell, Calvin Ridley, and Brian Thomas. So smart way to do this, grabbing your 2 running backs, grabbing a tight end, and then just starting to pound that wide receiver position. I like that. See, Lamar went in the 4th, which is standard. Anthony Richardson going before Patrick Mahomes. That's intriguing. Oh, why do I have my name? Eric, what are you doing with this brand situation? Everybody knows who I am. They don't need to see that my name is Rob Coakley. You all know, right? Everyone knows. Good, great, wonderful. I got to make sure I remember to do the 20th round pick special. Let you guys know when we get there. But that is far away. We are in the 6th round right now, getting ready to come up on our 6th round pick. Yeah, Mahomes has been falling a bit. That's great for me. So we are going to have probably a shitload of Mahomes this year because of that. Don't give me a reason to draft Mahomes because I will do it. Coming up on the clock here, I definitely want to go wide out. And I just think that the best wide out on the board right now is D-Hop. So we're going to grab D-Hop. We see that I have never drafted D-Hop with Stroud, divisional opponents, and I've never gotten him with either of the wide receivers. So if somehow the Tennessee matchup is the Week 17 pick, Week 17 matchup, then we're going to definitely want that. So we'll take it. We're going to do a little bit of scrolling here. God, I don't love a lot of this. This is a pretty gross part of the draft. Wide receivers are tough. Some of the running backs are okay. But let's do this. Let's grab Kyler, who I have not drafted with any of these players. We'll stack him with McBride. We'll end QB. And force it a little bit at the position. So, double QB. First I was hoping for the Kyler stack, and we did it. So, something I've been doing a little bit more. I don't even know if it's like considered, if we're going to consider a double elite QB just because of the way the range of QBs are going, but if I'm drafting between this 5th and 7th round, sometimes I've been grabbing 2 of them here and just being done with it, especially because they've been getting pushed up the board so much. So we'll do CJ Stroud, Kyler Murray. here. Kyler is a stack with Trey McBride. We get the CJ Stroud double. And we got a Cardinals-Texans situation going on. My question, who does the NFC West play from AFC in 2024? Let's see. The South has the NFC North, I think. If I'm reading this chart that they've put out here, right? So they won't be playing each other. All right. So we got the quarterback position all wrapped up. Things will be coming back around to us shortly. This actually kind of sets up my 19th round pick, possibly. So you're gonna see a percentage of a guy late, and you're gonna be like, Rob, what are you doing? And I'm just gonna tell you that I don't know what I'm doing. Do any of us really know what we're doing? Time is a flat circle. Watched a lot of Matthew McConaughey and True Detective. Didn't watch the new season of True Detective. I saw that was like a roller coaster. People saying it was fine. People saying it was absolutely awful. So I don't know what to believe. I don't know if I'll actually have time to watch it, if I want to watch it. None of the other seasons of True Detective lived up to that first season. And in fairness, they never were going to. That first season of True Detective, one of the greatest seasons of TV of all time. Jesus, was that so good. I gave up on the second season. I even liked the cast of the second season, and I just couldn't get into it. Maybe it's something to revisit. The third season was fine, but kind of boring. It was decent, but just kind of boring. Where are we at here? 5 picks away, 6 picks away. Coming up on the clock. Is Javonte normally going before Pollard? I feel like Pollard got pushed down in this draft a little bit. A.D. Mitchell going there. We like A.D. Mitchell because we like all rookie wide receivers, because we can tell ourselves a story of how they succeed, right? All right, we are back on the clock, and I do want to grab a wide receiver, but let's also grab Jaylen Warren since he's here. Who do we not have Jaylen Warren with? Our round 2 pick. So that would be Nico Collins. So we'll grab Jaylen Warren. As much as we just talked about the muddied Pittsburgh backfield, we'll still grab us some Jaylen Warren right now. And it's another situation where there are 3 wide receivers that I like here. And we do see Sutton go. Sutton was one of those 3. And Xavier Worthy was another one of them. So we're going to grab Jameson Williams. I do like Williams as well. So let's grab him as our 4th wide receiver right now. Let's follow this board a little bit. I'm not drafting Curtis Samuel in the 9th round. I'm not doing it. This Curtis Samuel hype, I've heard it on Discord. I've heard it in other podcasts and stuff. Guys, what are we doing? We're going to do Curtis Samuel in 2024 just because Steph Diggs got traded. Curtis Samuel is going to be no. All right. Did Curtis Samuel have a good 2023? Define good. Define good Curtis Samuel. Because he had 613 yards and 4 touchdowns, 62 receptions when he became the number 2 wide receiver in Washington with Sam Howell. I understand Josh Allen's a better quarterback, theoretically. Not that great. He has a rocket arm, has no accuracy, can't put the ball. No, the play here is Kincaid. If you want a current Buffalo pass catcher, it's Dalton Kincaid, and we see what they do in the draft. We're overreacting to Curtis Samuel. If you want to draft Shakur, where was Shakur going now? He still, let's see. Khalil Shakur, ADP 123. I mean, like, fine, sure. Okay. I think if you grab Josh Allen, you want to grab some rookies. Who was Washington's QB? It was Sam Howell. Yeah, okay, but he was still a third. He was third that moved up to second. Barely could beat out Jahan Dotson. Still didn't have a great year. We've watched him be a middling wide receiver for the majority of his career. He's entering his year. God, I want to say he's going to be 29 years old. It's just, he's going to be fine. He's not a guy I want in the 9th round of a best ball team. Like, I just don't. He's not the type of guy I want there. If he was much later, like, sure, fine, whatever. But we're gonna bump him up to the 9th round. Give me Gabe Davis over Curtis Samuel in a best ball format all day, every day. And I don't even think that's particularly close. And Gabe Davis isn't good at all. I'll take Gabe Davis over Curtis Samuel just because of what he could provide you in a best ball team. My God, let's just think sometimes, guys. As I show 50% exposure to Troy Franklin, let's just think sometimes 100% with Steph Diggs. Let's just think. As I'm overexposed. All these RBs go off the board, which sucks. God, it is ugly out here. So we're gonna grab Troy Franklin because we all love a good bit. And I'll have to see what Touch of Green does. But it's all gross. We don't like any of this. Let's be fair. 11th round Gus Edwards. It just has me shook to my core as well. I've wanted to add some Chuba to my portfolio somewhat. But God, I just don't know if I want to do it. Let's grab Shaheed. Let's grab Rashid Shaheed. So team as constructed: quarterback CJ Stroud, Kyler Murray; running backs Bijan, Jalen Warren, Nico Collins, Steph Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Jameson Williams, Troy Franklin, Rashid Shaheed, Trey McBride. Brasera said Shaheed is the pick. I didn't see if you wrote that before or after I took the pick, but oh, Terrence, is that you that took Curtis Samuel? I'm not pointing you out directly, just to be clear. I just think the price on Curtis Samuel has gone nuclear nuts. Like, if you want him, take him. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking Curtis Samuel that high. It's not for me. He'll be an easy fade for me in all drafts going forward if he's in the 9th round or above. And I think he's going to fall again. I think that I thought maybe Buffalo was going to try to trade up for a wide receiver. Then I saw the compensation they actually got for Steph Diggs, and that just was them literally just trying to get rid of Diggs however they could for the most part, from the way I read that situation. So I don't think they're going to try to push themselves up the board for a wide receiver, but we've already talked about how this is one of the best wide receiver classes that's been there out in a while. In fact, it's the only strength of this draft in terms of fantasy production itself. The quarterbacks, I think, are severely overrated. Not a big fan of the quarterbacks in this draft. The running backs, we all know this is not a running back draft class by any means. So the wide receivers are actually good, and they still have the opportunity to draft a relatively decent wide receiver at some point. And if they want to keep that window with Josh Allen going, they're going to have to get a wide receiver early in the draft. And I think once we do that, because of Dalton Kincaid, because of whoever they draft at wide receiver, that's going to push Curtis Samuel's stock back down. So I think if you're drafting him from now to the draft, you're going to be drafting him at his apex. And, whatever. If he wins you tournaments, he wins you tournaments. It doesn't matter where he goes. But I don't think he wins you tournaments is the point. So will he squeak out 10, 11, 12, 14 points if you're lucky a couple games, or, 6 games, 7 games? Sure. Maybe you need that to advance. Would I rather have a 23, 24 point Gabe Davis game 3 times in the year instead? Yes. So that's my feelings on the situation. Also, I don't mind guys like Curtis Samuel on your team, just not that early. Just not that early. Didn't expect to go down the Curtis Samuel rabbit hole today, but we did. We went down the Curtis Samuel rabbit hole. And we're going to be coming back up on the clock here as we look in utter disgust at this board. Because that's what it is. It is just absolutely disgusting. Vomit-inducing. And we get to do 8 more rounds. You guys like the 20 rounds for this tournament? I understand doing it for this particular tournament. We want a Jalen Wright. How dare you? Let's take Marshawn Lloyd. Get us a rookie RB here. Uno momento. Oh, actually, let's make our pick. I've wanted to. God, I really do like drafting Braylon Allen. I wanted to get a little more Rico Dowdle as well, who I do think Dallas brings somebody in. Let's just be the Braylon Allen guy. Why not? Let's do it. Uno momento. Kevin, the one that's on right now, or the one before? Wounded Geese is saying no Superflex big board this year. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their plans are. Clancy wants them all to be 20 rounds. I like the 18 rounds on Underdog. I like it being different. CSM, I'm going to give you a very boring answer. It really determines what the construct of your team is. So all the music I play on this stream is from Jesse Wilkins, who you saw in the chat. He is a musical producer and my best friend. And this song is called Octane. So if you look up Double Take Octane, I don't know if he released this song or not, but maybe he did. If he's still in the chat, he can answer that. If he's not, I can ask him and let you know. So, yeah, this one's Octane. Amberdino was the last one. So, unfortunately, you have no access to this song because Jesse loves to make music and not release it. How am I feeling about Musgrave? I think he's in line to smash from Terrence. I like Musgrave as a late pick. And you hear it here first. Jesse is dropping instrumental albums of September. I'm guessing one of those is a regular music album, and the other one is a spooky tracks. Did I watch? Oh, how did we not even talk about WrestleMania Night 1? I did watch Night 1. I thought it was fun. I think this is a problem that they can't overcome. But going to stadiums takes a little bit out of WrestleMania just based on it quieting the crowd. Open air stadiums are going to make the crowd much quieter. So I think that was a bit of a problem with the show. Overall, I thought it was a really good show. I thought it was a great show last night. I thought the card was really good. I thought you had some great stories. I would have liked the crowd could have enhanced it a little bit more. And I think maybe one or two matches should have been flipped in terms of pacing. I probably would have moved the ladder match because that's kind of like a let up spot. I know it's like a car crash situation, but it has the comedy spots and stuff. I would have moved that to a different spot in the show. But other than that, great show. Kudos to everybody. Everyone put on a great performance. I think the Usos match could have been better. I understand the story they were trying to tell there. I didn't love that one. I wanted more out of it. Rhea Ripley was great. Becky Lynch going out there with 102-degree fever is impressive as hell. The main event was a ton of fun. Main event might have been a little too long. We might have went too long on that main event. 42 minutes, I think it was. I don't know if we want to do 42 minutes. And I'll give some more thoughts on the main event after we get our next two picks. Got Marvin Mims going. We saw McLaughlin go. If McLaughlin got back to us, I would have taken him because we were thinking about taking him earlier. I want Dowdle. We were thinking about taking him in the last round, so why not take him now? So we'll take Dowdle. And I think we can hold off on tight end. Man, I do love Zay Jones down here. Let's up our Malachi Corley exposure. Let's get this Bond villain on this team. Gives us another wide receiver. A few more to pick. The main event, I understand the character of The Rock being the boss and telling the ref that he can do what he wants and essentially cheat. We can do this thing. I would have enunciated that a little bit more, made it a little more prolific by 5-10 minutes in, just making it a tornado tag match. And I think this protects The Rock a little bit if you do it that way. You saw, AEW is having its issues right now for sure. But the one thing I think that they did well over the past couple of years is Sting matches were tornado tag matches for the most part, which protects Sting. He doesn't have to be the focal point all the time in the match. You can be drawing attention to other parts. He can be down and out. I think you could have protected, not that The Rock looked bad, but The Rock is older and doesn't wrestle anymore for the most part. So I think having him turning into like a no DQ tornado tag match deal would have made more sense. And them not having Solo out there with them seemed suspect as well. So I probably would have had Solo out there with them. Not that he had to get overly involved, but that's my take on that. But overall, really good show. Thought the main event ended exactly the way the main event had to go. You couldn't pin Seth. Seth is going to lose the title tonight, I would assume, to Drew. You can't have him lose both nights. He can't take the L both nights, is what I will say. And Cody should win. So that's my WrestleMania thoughts. We can keep talking about that or not. We'll leave that up to you guys, because we are in these back end stages of this draft. And Sunday mornings are to talk about whatever we want to talk about. Talk about drafts, talk about the NBA, talk about wrestling, talk about whatevs. Talk about how we need another tight end. Talk about who we're going to draft in the 20th round. Got to show you guys what we're doing here. I kind of have my 19th and 20th round picks already planned here. Now anything can change, but that's what we're doing. All right, going to start this play list over. As we are coming up on the clock here. Steve Smith's calling Corley the steal of the draft wherever he goes. I mean, I like him because his name's great. How do you not like Corley with a name like Malachi Corley? I'll be the Malachi Corley guy. Hells yeah. We're going to take Juwan Johnson to add to our little Saints thing we got going on. Another tight end I like in this spot is Mike Gesicki. He's been fun. Versaire is saying that he can't believe that Yoshi's ADP has him in the 20th round now. People must not think he's good or has a chance to play in Cincy. I do like Yoshivas as well. Let me make this pick. We have a 257. I would like to get a RB, and they all suck. And we're gonna play the hits on this one. How do I have 43% Will Shipley and have him? I guess I don't have a ton of Nico, but hey, let's grab Will Shipley. That works for me. What were we talking about? We're talking about Yoshivas. I think that people are just believing T. Higgins is going to stay in Cincinnati. And I don't think that he made enough of an impression. Now, he made enough of an impression on me. I probably don't have enough of him. Let's see what I do have of him right now. I know I was grabbing him early, and then just other stuff has opened up, and I've got 7% of them right now. Probably would have liked a little bit more, but like 7-8% of a guy that's not always getting drafted, I'm okay with. But yeah, I think he should be drafted a bit higher. But that's going to be kind of the point of this 20th round, where we kind of fall into, I think we fall into, and myself included, fall into the rookie trope where like, let's just take shots on these rookies in the 19th and 20th round. And not that we shouldn't be doing that somewhat, but we are missing out on very important players that are going to get significant playing time in the 20th round. Guys that aren't even that old, right? Like, so I think that you can look at rookies and take rookies, and I encourage you to take rookies in the 19th and 20th round, but not every time, because there are guys that you are overlooking. There's one that we've all been overlooking. Yeah, I can see that because Tyler Boyd leaving, he has more of a chance, but you could also play that as Gesicki. Not that Gesicki's anything amazing, but they could expand the tight end role. That Irv Smith shit just did not work last year, but bringing Gesicki in might expand what they want to do with that particular position. And maybe they don't. Maybe that is Yoshi, right? Like, and I'm fine with that. That's a guy that I do want on my team. So I'm playing it kind of both ways on that front, where I try to make sure I get some Gesicki. I've tried to get some Yoshivas. I want Bengals, basically. So it's an offense we believe in. These are players we can get behind, and you can kind of tell yourself the story with either of them. So I'm in for both, is what I will say. And we are coming back up on the clock here. Tell you what I'll do. Just for you, we'll take Yoshiwasa on this team since we talked about him. And we'll grab him in the 18th round. And I'm going to bump up. So my 20th round pick, I'm going to make a 19th round pick. Because I know how I want to play this. So we're going to bump up my 20th round pick. And the guy that we are overlooking in 20th rounds, this is going to be a little bit boring for you guys. But why are we not drafting Juwan Jennings earlier? Here's a guy. Juwan Jennings is a 20th round steal right now. Like the absolute 20th round steal of 20th round steals. He's on the field with one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL on the 49ers, right? He's signed up with he's got this year on his contract. He's a UFA next year, I believe. We're not 100% sure Ayuk's coming back. That might not pan out, and then he gets even more playing time. But even if Ayuk's there, we've seen him contribute to this team in multiple facets, like multiple games where he gets on the field and performs. Why are we not drafting Juwan Jennings more frequently? He's not getting drafted in every draft. Here's your 20th round steal that people are just not taking for some reason. And I'm just smashing the Juwan Jennings button constantly. He's going to provide a 20th round pick that's going to provide you games. Like he's going to be on. Like it's just unbelievable to me that Juwan Jennings isn't an 18th round pick. I mean, look at some of the guys. Donovan Peoples-Jones goes here. Rondell Moore's going. Demarcus Robinson, Greg Dortch. You know, Javon Baker's a rookie, but Tyler Boyd, 17th round. Elijah Moore. You'd rather have all these guys over Juwan Jennings? Fucking crazy, Bills. That's what you're taking if you're telling me that you'd rather have those guys over Juwan Jennings. So, I've just been smashing a ton of Juwan Jennings. So that is my 20th round, the best 20th round pick as I take him in the 19th. That's how good of a 20th round pick he is. I bumped him up to the 19th round. So call me crazy if you want. Vaporware asks if he had won the Super Bowl MVP, what would his ADP be? I mean, people seem to not believe in him. I mean, maybe he's a little higher. There was some early hype for Taj Washington. Any thoughts? His hype fell off. I think you're going to see hype coming and going through the next few weeks on every player. And then, you know, the draft will happen and we'll relive the entire cycle again. I mean, you want to take a flyer, you take a flyer. I don't have a huge opinion either way on Taj Washington. Are you calling me crazy, or is it crazy that he's going in the 20th round, Terrence? How about this for crazy? I would rather have Juwan Jennings over Curtis Samuel. Straight up. Give me Juwan Jennings. That might be crazy, but I'd rather have Juwan Jennings over Curtis Samuel. Not a shot at you, Terrence. Just a shot at Curtis Samuel and the people posting him up. That's fine. I'll take being called crazy over taking 20th round Juwan Jennings, who just showed out in the playoffs, might be the number 2 wide receiver on the 49ers. There's a chance. I think Ayuk goes back, but, you know, yes, his stats for the regular season weren't good. He was hurt in 2023, but his playoff stats last year were great. So I'll take Juwan Jennings. Give him to me. Give me Juwan Jennings in the 20th round. Yeah, I mean, I'll take Slayton too. I mean, sure. The difference is the 49ers want to get Jennings on the field, and the Giants, for whatever reason, do everything they can to keep Slayton off the field, and he's just undeniable. We're going to grab Michael Carter, who I have way too much of to stack with this Cardinals thing we're doing as our 20th round pick. I knew he'd be there. That's why I bumped Jennings up just off the off chance that he didn't get picked. So that's not the team I'm looking for. Are they just not going to show it to me? Oh, can I? Okay, should be there now. All right, so we went C.J. Stroud, Kyler Murray, Bijan, Jalen Warren, Marshawn Lloyd, Braylon Allen, Rico Dowell, Will Shipley, Michael Carter, Nico Collins, Steph Diggs, DeAndre Hawkins, Jameson Williams, Troy Franklin, Rashid Shaheed, Malachi Corley, Yoshi Voss, Jawan Jennings, best 20th round pick in all of best ball, Trey McBride, and Jawan Johnson. We got both Jawans. You can't, it's statistically impossible to lose if you have both Jawans spelled differently. All right. Instead of looking at other teams, let's jump into. I also think this is part of their problem. They make it a little bit difficult to find this tournament. Like, it's just not as prominent. But let's jump into a dance tournament. If you guys are interested in seeing this, we'll do this. We need 5 players. So we'll wait for a little bit. I'll give it some time. If we can fill this, we fill it. And we'll draft a dance team in the meantime. I think this will be my 9th dance team. So I'm only looking to do 10 to 15 at most of these. I'm not as big into, we only need 2. Versailles, we're all donating. We are all donating to the NBA because there's got to be some NBA crushers that are putting in 150 teams and just efficiently drafting, which I do try to efficiently draft these. I do try to set up my NBA Finals 5 guys whenever I do these drafts. So I don't like these play-in things. Maybe this is just me being old, but like this playing situation, I just like let's just do 8 seeds. This play-in shit is stupid. So we need 1. We need 1 player for NBA. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I want the 102. I want some more Jason Tatum. Agreed, go Celtics. I've tried to build quite a few Boston-Denver finals. But I've been trying to build them smartly. Steve says that he agrees he hasn't pulled the trigger much on JJ, but he blew up in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I can only imagine because more involved, especially when Kittle or Debo misses time. Yeah, the thesis isn't that he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver on the team. The thesis is he's a 20th round pick that has blow-up spots. And we've seen it already. We've seen it in the playoffs. We've seen him step up in games. We know that he has a role in the offense. We're drafting guys around him that are practically dead. Yeah, was it last year? Versailles saying he's kind of excited to see if we get some playoff Luka magic. I think like last year, it might have been the year before. I don't remember for sure. But one of the years, like Luka crushed in the first round and you almost needed him to advance. Yeah, Devo does miss quite a bit of time. So Ayuk doesn't come back. Debo misses time. I mean, what are we looking at there? Right? So I'm not saying to draft them every single time. You don't have to have a crazy exposure to them, but I would be making sure that you mix some Jawan Jennings in. I think he's only 26. Maybe he's turning 27 years old this season. Still pretty young, heavily involved. We are filled in the little dance. Are my exposures not going to pop on this? Oh, we get the 102. We willed it into existence. I thought my exposures were going to pop up on this. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't sync my teams properly. I don't have a lot though. I can tell you that I've drafted 8 teams and I've only managed to get Jason Tatum once, and that's because he fell to the 103. I haven't had a 102 spot in any of these drafts. First air, I will murder you if you take Tatum. How do you not take Jokic? Like, Jokic is like, you have to take Jokic 101. Those are the rules. Haven't you ever drafted before? Terrence is 15 drafts deep and only has one team. I like that's why we draft these teams right now. So that when Best Ball Mania comes out, guess what? People that aren't drafting these teams think like, shit, I don't like this. So first year does take Jokic, and we are going to grab Tatum for our team. These go a little bit faster. Again, I mean, if you play NFL playoff best ball, this is essentially the same idea. We're trying to build our finals team. 5 out of 10 of your spots, you should be able to fill. You should be able to put together a lineup for the finals. It's kind of the strategy. So we take Tatum here at the 102. Problem with taking Jokic and Celtics and like teams like that you think are going to just crush in the first round become tougher to advance because they only play the 4 games. And if one of the other series goes 7, you know, if you're drafting guys that sweep, they're just not scoring nearly as many points just based on the fact that they're playing, you know, 2 to 3 less games in the first round because they just are so dominant. So sometimes that's a problem, and you got to kind of draft with that in mind too. So, but don't follow me for NBA advice. More of a fun thing for me. Joel Embiid has rocketed up the draft board as well because he was hurt and then he came back, and it's so funny. Like, he had been projected to be back for the playoffs and people still were letting him linger to the 4th round when I started doing these drafts a few weeks ago. And as soon as it's like, yep, he's back, shoots right up. It's like, well, we knew. We're never going to learn. As a community, we're just never going to learn that you just take them. So, is what it is. Let's grab Derek White. Give ourselves a starting Boston guard, as well as our wing. The scoring format is 1 of each position, which is guard, wing, and big. And then you get 2 flex positions that will score points. So you got 5 guys that are scoring. Receiver grabs Anthony Edwards. Oh, this next one's going to be tough. We do need to think about advancing. We have 2 Celtics. I'm going to grab Chet. Oh, God, do I want to just grab Aaron Gordon? I'm going to grab Aaron Gordon. I think that Chet was the right play. That might have been dumb. He's already admitted it, Terrence. He's in the chat. He's having some fun. Ugh. It is kind of the problem with trying to draft these teams that you're expecting to make the playoffs, right? Trying to get a Celtics Nuggets team that's going to get through is going to be brutal. I think I probably should have grabbed Chet. Feels like a big mistake. Big mistake. But it is what it is. We'll get through it. All right, so when all the keys picks, we're gonna have some choices to make here. I hate taking Al Horford, but I think this just sets us up. We get Derek White, Tatum, Al Horford to go with Aaron Gordon. This allows us to set up some very particular final situations that we can work towards. But I think what we're going to do now, because we have our 3 Celtics, is we can still be playing towards the finals, but we also need to make sure that we can advance at a round 2. Round 1 is a little easier because it is 2 out of 6, but we still want to be able to advance out of round 1 as well. So luckily we had our Clippers decision made for us here. Clippers are projecting to play right now 4-5 game, which is against the Mavericks. So the question is, do we want Kyrie or do we want Devin Booker? Because I'm looking for a Western Conference guy that can help me advance. I think we're gonna take Kyrie here. I think that's gonna be the play. As we go through this. And the reason I said Western Conference is, like, obviously we have 3 Celtics. We get to pick 10 teams, and if you can build, it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you still need to take guys that you think can get you through. The guy was it last year? So everything's blending, but Jimmy Butler was like one of the best picks ever because he was going so late with the Heat, and they ended up going on a huge run. But not even just because they went on a huge run, how good he was in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, he kind of pulled you through on his own. So if you had set up like a Denver stack with a bring back of Eastern Conference, could have grabbed Jimmy Butler late. It would have helped you get your Denver team through, even if they didn't make the finals. 2, 3, or 4 in terms of players per team. Weber, is that what you're asking? I'm also not the guy to ask about these. I'm limited time. I obviously am trying to play it in a strategic fashion, for sure. So what we're gonna do here I feel like we just really fucked up this big situation. We're gonna grab Caldwell Pope, get our other Denver guy. So now we have our Boston Denver stack, which this might have been too early to get this final because maybe we don't have enough power to get through to the finals with this team, but we'll see what we can put together here. Okay, what we're gonna do here. I don't like that because I don't like that they're in a play-in game at the moment. I'm gonna grab Halliburton. This is not the way I would normally like to play this team, but we're gonna have to push two guards through a lot of these rounds to get through, and I think the Pacers can beat somebody in the first round. Oh, teams like Chiefs, Bills, 49ers. I mean, my preferred, if you can get it clean, if you can do it super clean, because you're picking 10, I like to do 3, 2, 2, 2, so it's like 4 teams. Usually is the way I like to play it. I mean, you can still try to do like, you know how we do the AFC, NFC championship game thing. You could try to do that, but I usually like to build it off of one side where I can get 3 or 4. Like, say we have the Celtics, right? Say I wanted to do 4 Celtics and then build 2, 2, 2 on the Western Conference side. That's kind of my preferred method, but I don't always go to that because I do try to make sure that I can get through to the finals. I mean, in essence, main goal is to have a finals team, which we have with Boston and Denver on here. So how can we get this Boston Denver through? If we can add another team to go like Boston Dallas and then Boston X, cool, great, wonderful, grand, but not a necessity always. So I think we're gonna be playing this team more so to advance is what I'm looking at. And with that being said, again, I would rather be taking Western Conference guys right now. Sabonis is in a playoff game. Is Nurkic in a play-in game currently? No, but they're teetering. With 5 games to go, they could hit the play-in game. I don't really like anyone that's going to be in the play-in game with the Lakers. It just feels very trappy. See Julius Randle go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Boncharo. I think he is a good wing to have here. I know that we're just like blowing up this Eastern Conference thing. Hate it overall, but I think it's tougher to do the traditional builds with Boston right now just because of how early they're all going. But we'll do that for now. And I know where I want to go with my next pick. So we're going to need to grab another big, and the one that makes the most sense is Gafford from Dallas. So we're going to do that to go with Kyrie Irving. So we do have 2 finals set up right now. As of the moment, the Mavericks are the 5 seed, so it's like not a great chance that they make the finals, but we've seen rare stuff. So we will do that. Tone down the music just a little bit for the end here. See, like I'd love to take Sabonis, right? But Sabonis, the Kings are the 9 seed right now, and they could move up, but right now they're playing the playing game against the Warriors. I don't love it. So this is not my traditional type of team. It's just we're doing this the way the chips have fallen to us and how I think we're going to best get through. Because the main goal is to get this Boston-Denver team through, right? Like that's the main goal of this particular team is you're playing it to get this team through to the finals with just for that matchup. I think other teams you can kind of mix and match a little bit. Like almost any of the other I always want to say AFC, Eastern Conference teams, you can kind of do a little bit differently. So this is our last pick. I do want a big. Oh, I was going to take Mobley. That sucks. That was kind of my play here. Wow. We'll take Sabonis and pray. That sucks. All right, so that team, not my favorite team that I've drafted. Derek White, Kyrie Irving, KCP, Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum, Aaron Gordon, Paulo Banchero, Al Horford, Daniel Gafford, and Domantas Sabonis. So that is our 9th dance team. Like I said, I'm only looking to do about 15 at max of these, but we've done some fun ones. We've built some fun teams. Maybe one day we'll go through some of these and show them off. But for now, it's been real, guys. Love doing these Sunday shows. We'll be back next Sunday. I will be here doing another. I think we'll be back next Sunday. If there's no drafts, I don't know what we're going to do, but hopefully there's a draft that we can do. Catch you next time. Peace. Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? If you turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there. You can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.